There's a new way to see. No more counting calories, just living free. Robert Ferguson's got the plan you need. With diet-free life, it's the key. No more starving, getting rid of inflammation. Choosing healthy choices, providing you with sound information. Bringing balance to hormones and insulin through food. With DFL, teaching you food choices to see you through. DFL, we're teaching you to eat food right. Teaching you to pair food with each bite. Balancing our body's microbiome, feeling so right. With diet-free life, the health futures lose by.
Woo, woo, woo. What's up, everybody? Man, what a day it has been. What a week it has been. I feel blessed. I feel honored. This is Diet Free Life with Robert Ferguson, a.k.a. Roberto Lorenzo Ferguson. And this is an impromptu. So I'm sharing this video or this presentation or this talk because of a sad thing, but then also a good thing. The sad thing is that there's a woman by the name of Danielle Spencer, who as a kid, I grew up watching her on television. I remember her as Dee. Didn't even know her real name, but she was a great little actress. And yesterday, I woke up and heard that she has passed. And she passed because of cancer. Now, I'm going to talk about that just a little bit, and I'm going to show you a little video to remind you if you don't remember who she was. She was on a TV show called What's Happening. Had Raj, and it was a great show. Great show. Rerun was on there. It was awesome. And she had breast cancer, some years ago. Got in a really bad car accident. Had a tough time getting around, but man, she lived her life. Became a veterinarian, I believe. So she became Dr. Spencer. And then she got cancer again. So we're going to talk about cancer. And the sad part is that, she's moved on, and blessings and condolences to her family, her friends, her fans. But here's the good news, is that there are things that we can do to actually reduce our risk of cancer. Now, I never met her in person, and there's a whole bunch of people I've never met, but I would be willing to bet money, if we were betting, that the three things that I'm going to share that come about as a result of a randomized double placebo-controlled trial, didn't get on the news, wasn't talked a lot about, but they demonstrate over a 2-year period that if you do three things, you can reduce your risk of all types of cancer by 61%. Now, if you don't know what that means, and I'm not being sarcastic, I'm just what I mean, because 61% is significant. That means every person that we know, love, care about would benefit from knowing these three things. And I'm going to share them with you. I'm not going to drag it out because I got things to do. But I was just moved to give an acknowledgement today. And so I'm just asking you to sit with me. And I do want you to share this video with other people because everyone deserves to know these three things. Now, if they don't do these three things, then hey, God bless them, and that's on them. But as the late, great Jack LaLanne used to tell me all the time, is that, Robert, if you're excited about something, don't keep it a secret. Well, I wouldn't want to keep this a secret. There are three things, and here's the scary part, is I've asked many physicians, and this is not a dig on physicians, but I've asked many of them if they were aware of this Do Health study and if they were aware of these three things. And I haven't come across one that knew the three things. I came across a couple that were like, yeah, I think so. And then I said, what are the three things? I go, how are you a physician and you're talking to patients on a regular basis and you see people getting cancer and you're not 100% fully 1000% aware of this and you're not sharing this with every one of your patients? I mean, to me, this is mind-blowing, staggering, over the top. Everybody in the world would benefit from knowing this, especially based on some stats I'm going to share with you. Okay. Now you can contact me if you got questions, if I put my information down below, but I'm going to play a little video. And this video is going to be, let me see, let me. Okay. Because this is the study. I wanted to show you this. This is the study that I'm going to walk you through. It's called the Do Health Study. And they share three things that everybody can do to reduce their cancer risk. But before we go into that, let me introduce you to Danielle Spencer. Most of you will remember her as D on the TV show What's Happening. Okay, let me pull it up.
Order. Is there a lady here?
Well, what do I look like, Rosie Greer?
Former child star Danielle Spencer has died at the age of 60.
60 years of age, you guys. Now, on this show, the reason why I cut it out pretty abruptly is that the newscaster said she died of breast cancer. She died of stomach cancer. Now, years ago, she had breast cancer. But again, you got to double check these guys because they're sharing information. And again, respect to her family, blessings to her. And if I had to bet, I would go on record and say there's no way she was aware of the three things that I'm going to share with you guys that everybody would benefit from knowing. And in this study, we have those three things. Now, before I share those three things, I have some stats that I want to share with you. Just a few. I'm not going to go long. And then I'm going to share with you those three things. But everybody would benefit from knowing these stats. And so these stats have been fact-checked. I wanted to make sure that you had the most accurate information as it pertains to cancer. And nobody wants cancer. So the first thing I wanted to highlight was that between 1995 and 2020, the only age group that experienced an overall increase in cancer incidence was younger adults. Now, that study, you can look that up. It's at Yale Medicine. So young people are getting cancer way more than older people. And that's, since they've been tracking this is like a first. Second thing I want to share with you is colorectal cancer, colon cancer, among those under the age of 55 has more than doubled since 1995. And in 2019, about 20% of colon cancer diagnoses were in patients under the age of 55. This is alarming. What's going on inside of the gut? Why are so many more young folks getting cancer? Now, imagine you're watching this video and I'm going to share with you these three things that everybody could do. And God forbid you get cancer or your kid gets cancer. Wouldn't you have wished you had told them about these three things? Because it does matter. Okay, it really does matter. Right? If all things equal, everybody would benefit from knowing these three things from such a solid study. Like, this should just be common knowledge on how to reduce the risk of all types of cancer. And those of you who are health coaches, you're out here popping, selling supplements here and there, peptide this, peptide that, all these things you're selling, please get yourself informed. Because some of the things that people are selling is actually causing damage and may be a contributor to various types of cancer. It's a whole nother conversation. but at least know these three things. Lord, help us. Now, for ages 25 to 39, women have seen an overall cancer incidence increase big time. Same as with men. And by 2030, rates will climb an additional 11 in women, 11%, and 12% in men. Guys, like, who wouldn't want to know this? Now, that doesn't mean that you're 100% going to reduce the likelihood of you getting cancer. But 61%, that means, like, let's say we're in gym class and 10 people have to go up against the wall. And someone's going to be throwing the ball at us. Okay, or whatever the game may be. And you could remove yourself from being hit by the ball. And so 6 people out of 10 get to leave and not get hit. That's pretty nice. I would rather be in the 60% and get off of that wall. All I need to know and do is the 3 things in this study. I'm all about that. Then when you look at specific cancers, non-cardia gastric cancer increases big time. Again, colon cancer between the ages of 20 and 34 increase every year, big time. Distant stage breast cancer, ages 25 to 39, increase big time. And then from a global standpoint, this is the last one. It says early onset cancers under the age of 50 have surged by nearly 80% since 1990, with a projected further 31% increase by 2030. So it's increased as far as people getting cancer, and it's going to continue to increase. That's all the projections. Wow. And then the last thing it says here is cancer rates now 82% higher than men under 50. And that's referring to women. I have 2 daughters, and I want them to know, and they do know, these 3 things that we can all do. Does your daughter know these 3 things? Do you know these 3 things? Now, somebody needs help with these 3 things, and I'm going to dive into those 3 things. Okay. All right. Here's the study. I know it's not really big, but bear with me. You can look up the study. You can read it in great detail. But number one thing you can do, and there's 3, so not in any one order, but if you want to reduce your risk of all types of cancer, you want to start exercising. So if you're not exercising, you want to start exercising. And it's important that in your exercise, you have resistance training as part of it. Now, some of you will continue to put off exercising. You will not perform your resistance training. And God forbid you get cancer. Then you go, well, it's my time, God. If you had been performing resistance training, that reduces the likelihood of it happening to you. Now, if you're not familiar with resistance training, like lifting weights, right? Because you can do it at home, you can go to the gym, you can go to group classes, then reach out to someone like me or another professional and say, hey, I just want to learn how to exercise. I can do it at home. And once you have it, you got it. So if you're just walking, that's not including resistance training. Okay. So we all can do that, right? Even if you're wheelchair bound, we can all get in some type of exercise because we want to, not only does it help reduce the risk of cancer, it helps so many other things. Not just what you want to look like, but it just helps a lot of things. Your mood, your energy, like everything. Okay. So now we got number 2. Number 2 is vitamin D3 supplementation. So you want to remember 2,000 IUs a day. Now, let's say you go, well, I don't think I really need it. Well, the good news is that you can get a test. I actually have a test that I could make available to you. We could test your vitamin D at home, a very high level test. So you don't got to be guessing. Or you can go to your doctor, and sometimes your insurance will cover it. And you can find out with the test if you are insufficient when it comes to vitamin D in your body. Now, this is what we know based on statistics. About 85% of Black folks do not have an adequate amount of vitamin D3 in their body. Now, what's alarming is when you look at who's getting cancer more based on ethnicity, Black folks are way up there. That's pretty scary. Now, vitamin D is an easy thing to fix, right? So I have a vitamin D that I make available to my clients. It's like $17 a month. And we've done tests, and at the end of 4 months or so, just by taking the vitamin D every day, they're no longer insufficient. They have adequate amount of vitamin D3. Now, I do believe that you could go to Walmart. You could probably go on Amazon. You may even be able to go down to the corner store and get a vitamin D supplement, and it'll probably work just fine. But make sure you do a test. So you don't want to be guessing. Oh, yeah, I'm taking the vitamin D. Okay, well, did you know there's a way we can test to make sure it's working out for you? Now, I don't take a vitamin D supplement, but I prescribe one to my clients. So you go, well, Robert, what if it's that important? Why is it that you don't take a vitamin D supplement? Well, I've done the test, okay, a couple times in the last year, and my vitamin D levels are great. I go out in the sun at least 3-4 times a week. I go to the pool. I may listen to a podcast. I may make some phone calls. You know, I have a pool, and I live in California. And if I'm not in California, I'm in some sunshine state, to include Florida. So it's easy for me to get sun. But I do realize not everyone is able to get sun. So that's why you want to get tested, and you want to make sure you're taking your vitamin D3. Okay. So that's the study of 2 out of the 3. And then you have number 3. It's not look, I'm just sharing with you what the study reveals. Omega-3. Doesn't surprise me, because I know that over 99% of everybody, unless they're taking this product called balance oil, is probably going to have insufficient levels of omega-3. How do we know? There's a test. There's a test. Now, in the study, they recommend 1 gram of omega-3 a day. And they noticed that played a huge role in reducing the risk of cancer. Now, I also know that if you have an adequate amount of omega-3 in your body, it helps a lot of things. Plays a huge role in reducing inflammation from head to toe. When you have adequate intake of omega-3, when they test you, you live on average 5 years longer, quality living. That means removal of various health conditions than someone who doesn't have an adequate amount of omega-3. So, like, there's a part of me that goes, okay, there's a lot of really smart people out there. And they'll hear me share this. I can substantiate everything that I'm saying. They can go read the study for themselves, and they will not start taking an omega-3 to help them. Now, there's different omega-3s. And this is why when you listen to people on the internet and people talking about it, even your doctor, they're not all equal. The good news is that there's a test. So I've tested a lot of people in the last year. And of all the people I've tested, we've had 19 different products that were omega-3 that they were taking. And they all failed. So they were taking a product that wasn't working. We know because we did a test. So imagine you want to reduce your risk of cancer. You go down to the local store, you start taking an omega-3. And in your mind, you really think you got it going on. And then things don't go well. And you say, well, I did everything right. No, you did not. Because the omega that you're taking didn't pass the test. The vitamin D3 you're taking didn't pass the test. Now, the exercise, we can say, okay, well, you only walked, you didn't. Okay, well, you know you didn't perform resistance training. And in this trial, it was very clear, resistance training. So if you walk and you say, I was exercising, I don't understand. You didn't reduce the risk if you just walked. I mean, walking is helpful, but somehow you got to implement some type of resistance training. Whether you're walking and you're performing some squats, some push-ups off the wall, there's a way to make it work. Okay. So those are the three things. And I know for a fact, 99% of everyone is not getting enough omega-3. You're not. It's unbelievable. And I'll watch people like improve and then stop doing it because you can't feel it. But then when cancer hits or gout shows up or lupus comes out of nowhere or fibromyalgia, it's like, huh? Where does this come from, doc? A lot of the preventative things or being proactive and making sure that you're optimizing these three things were not being implemented. What else can you say? Like, so let's say that you went and got your doctor. And your doctor sat down and he says, hey, I want you to, we're going to watch this video of this Robert Ferguson guy. He's a nutritionist. And he said, there's three things. And the doctor's hearing it for the first time also because he's my client also. All the people that you know that got cancer, right? And they've survived. Please share this with them. If you don't want to do it for yourself, that's cool. But share this with people that you love. Now, if they choose not to, hey, that's on them. I have like a couple fitness trainers that come to mind right now. And they have parents and they love their parents. And these fitness trainers that I know, they're influencers. So they have a lot of people that follow them. And I've told them about this study and I've shared with them the power of making sure you're in balance with omega-6 to omega-3, making sure you're getting enough omega-3, how we can prove that with the tests. And they don't do it for themselves. They're not sharing it with their parents. They're not telling people about it because when they became a trainer or went to school, they didn't learn it. So this is updated new information for them. And because they didn't discover it, they're choosing to just sweep it under the rug and not acknowledge it. Now, when their parents get cancer or have some conditions that could have been prevented or reversed, they're going to sweep it under the rug even more because that's human nature. That's basic psychology. That's why each one of us needs to become our own health advocate. I know physicians that I've shared this with, and they would be embarrassed if I pulled them up on a stage with such notable physicians like a Dr. Robert Lustig or Dr. Andrew Wild or Dr. Artemis Samopoulos, Dr. Joseph Hibbelin, and these people like that they look up to. And I would bring that doctor up and say, hey, I shared this with this doc. And you know what, guys? This doc did nothing to educate people on the importance of omega-3. How do you think that doc would feel in front of such notable physicians? They would be embarrassed. And you know what? Good. Because so many people are out there looking the part and ain't the part. And it's just sickening. It makes me sick to my stomach because they are missing the whole part of informed consent. It's kind of like the Bible talks about when you become a preacher, right? Or if you take on the responsibility that I am going to get in front of people and I'm going to teach them the word. And the Bible's pretty clear that you're going to be judged harder than people who didn't raise their hand and say, I want to teach and influence others. Well, the same thing is true when it comes to these personal trainers, these fitness professionals, or so-called, these nutritionists, dietitians, these health advocates and health coaches. It is a shame, a damn shame, that they're either ignorant or they're not taking this seriously. Because if you bring in Dr. Samopoulos, who's the #1 endocrinologist in the world, she would look at them and say, that's a damn shame. When I met Dr. Andrew Wild in 2002, he was talking about the importance of omega-3, and I'm listening to him, and he's like making a lot of sense, and there's a ratio, and that was in 2002. The man's still saying the same thing. And I would love to embarrass some of these personal trainers and nutritionists. I would love to embarrass them. Like, seriously. I'm not being sarcastic. I'm not trying to be funny, but I would, especially the ones that I know could have known. Right in front of a large 5,000, 10,000 person, I would say, hey, Dr. Andrew Wild, this trainer right here has 100,000 followers and don't know anything about the importance of omega-3. I mean, that's what you got to do to some of these people because they're so, I don't know, obstinate. Okay. They're just, I want to call them dumb, but I know they're not dumb because they're smart in areas that they're interested in. So that's why the word dumb isn't good. Stupid's not good. And it has nothing to do with not wanting to insult them because I don't care. What are they going to do to me? Beat me up? Okay, let's meet up. Let's connect. We can shut the door and see what happens. So, but I'm not going to call them stupid and dumb because the word, it don't fit. It's just obstinate. That's the best word. Stiff-necked, the way the Bible talks about it. Don't want to look left or right. Just want to just stay in their lane of not knowing what they don't know. Undamn believable. Anyway, I want to say what's up. I caught a couple people. Sandy's on here, caught me live. Susie Lopez, everybody. I almost want to say, like, whenever I say Susie Lopez, I think of J-Lo. I don't know if that's a good thing. Anyway, what's up? What's up, Susie? Oh, man. Life is good. So we know the 3 things. Now, if you got questions, reach out to me. If somebody shared this with you, reach out to them, reach out to me. Get tested. There's a way to do it at home, and it's very inexpensive for vitamin D3 and for your omega-3s. And then ask and get help on how to improve those things so that you are reducing your risk of all types of cancer by up to 61%. That's a win, everybody. All right. I'm Robert Ferguson. Thank you. Please like, subscribe if you're catching me on YouTube, or just share it. You know, pay it forward. Again, help somebody else that don't know what you didn't know until you had the opportunity to catch the replay or you caught me live. And if you want to know more, again, reach out to me. I got to go.
No more counting calories, just living free. Robert Ferguson's got the plan you need. With diet-free life, it's the key. information. Choosing healthy choices, providing you with sound information. Bringing balance to hormones and insulin through food. With DFL, teaching you food choices to see you through. DFL, we're teaching you to eat food right. Teaching you to pair food with each bite. Balancing our body's microbiome, feeling so right.